Hi guys, just to let you know, this episode has mental health in. We discussed a lot about psychosis and suicidal. So please, if you're not, if you're still feeling unwell, please do not watch this episode. Hello, my name is John Knight. I'm the host from Inspiring Change. I have a guest today called Wade. He does within mental health and he's going to tell his story, his life, and how he started his charity, his business, and what passion did he drive him. So Wade, how are we doing today?
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks. Yeah, me on you on. Yeah, it's really good to
be
be here,
here.
talk to you.
So what made you drive the passion to go into charity and stuff like that?
Well, first, just to be clear, I run a CIC. It's a little bit different to a charity, so still it's within the realm of like not for profit, but a CIC is a community interest company. That's what it is.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
And the purpose of it is to create profit for the community, not for an individual. So any money that we have come in has to be spent on bettering people within the community. So in my case, men's mental health. So yeah, I mean, it's been a long journey, mostly outside of business, going through my own struggles. Um, and then it kind of culminated into a point of where I realized that there's not really any help out there for men. There's lots of talk about men not talking and how difficult they find it apparently, but I've always found that in certain situations guys talk a lot, whether it's a pub or at the gym or at football, wherever it is they are, they do talk about stuff, but it's about the place being a protected place, right? Like, and generally it's a place where there aren't a lot of women, in terms of how we interact with each other. I have really deep conversations with guys when it's just guys, and knowing that for me made me think, well, there's something to that. Maybe I could create something that can exhibit that and to really show that in the world, and then put out a big call to guys that there is this place. Like, yeah, the pubs may be too expensive and they're alternative bloody restaurants out, but and the gym is a place that's not really conducive for guys to share in that kind of way. It's a good place to work out and stuff, but it's not the same as what it used to be. Um, and then, like even with football, is pricing people out again. Everybody's running on shoestrings nowadays, and it's really hard to make every penny count for something. So usually what men do is we put ourselves to the side so we won't enjoy that experience. And by doing that, we isolate ourselves. So I thought a Craig space is free to attend. It's to any man that's 18 plus, so they can come along, sit down, have a cup of tea, talk to each other and play a bit of pool and stuff. But there's no pressure for them to come and talk either. It's not like a medical kind of like NHS thing of you come in, you sit around a circle and you say, "Hi, my name's Wade and I show with this and this and this," or I give you a questionnaire that you have to fill out. It's all very much personalized to the group. So what does the group want? They want to play pool. Okay, so we helped out with a bit of funding for the community center, and they got a pool table. So we're now able to play pool there. People wanted to have a TV for when we have presentations, so we managed to get a TV donated to it. Um, and then it's just the actual running of the group, whatever guys want, like they wanted a fitness session. So we opened it up and now we run 2 sessions in the week rather than one. So it's kind of gone from being what I needed to realizing a giant need in society, and then open that out to the guys, and it's been really successful. Sadly successful, because if we're successful, that means we've got lots of guys coming poor mental health. That's not good, but it means that at least there's a space rather than there not being one.
Yeah. Do you find that's a safe space for them to talk where they want to go with their life? Have we so when we go into this, so have you had people going with psychosis and that along the last thread of committing suicide, they tend to turn to something that they can, things like Samaritans, or they're gonna say they're gonna end their life, or they're gonna do something of that drastic. But then it's the percentage of like high in the UK is much more higher than between the ages of certain brackets. So how do you get them to realize that there is a purpose. They can turn their pain into purpose, like you just did there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, obviously, like you say, that's what it's about. It's about presenting opportunities and telling stories of success, right? Because too often, when you associate with mental health, you think of the negative side of mental health. Like, if you picture it, you'd imagine someone in distress or someone crying or something suicidal, but you never think about positive mental health. You never think about, okay, well, what's the inverse of that? Because the word mental health isn't itself inherently negative. It's just a word. Like physical health, you have poor physical health, you have good physical health. With mental health, it's often framed in a negative sense, but when you start to show positive stories of it and you start to give people that chance of redemption, like in my group, the best thing about it is that actually, as much as I run it and I'm a facilitator and I've got qualifications and stuff and lived experience or that I'm good to talk to, it's not often me that's someone changing people's lives, it's themselves and through helping others. So what we tend to find is that if you ask the guy a favor, that actually is more helpful sometimes than giving advice. You know, so if you're struggling, for instance, I say, "Oh, mate, I've got this fence that's just falling down my back on. Do you mind helping me out?" And then you come around my house, you'll put the fence back up. You're gonna feel real good about that. You know, you've helped me, and that creates a possibility for you to do more than that, right? But then you start to see life with more opportunities. So what we say to the guys in our group is obviously when they feel right, you can't just say, "Come in, you've got going through all these problems, you feel suicide, or go and help other people," right? That's not the way to do it. But when people start to feel more comfortable and confident about sharing their story and about providing assistance to others, that's when we start to encourage that. So we actually take our service users and give them the opportunity to train as mental health first aiders, and that's massive because then you've got people with lived experience who love the group and want to help the group. Now they've got the backing of knowledge. So now when a new guy comes in, I've got 12 guys that all were mental health first aid trained in the room. So if any new person comes in, they're not sure where to go. I've got a load of guys that have been through the same door as them, but now they've got training. So the power of that is enormous. And what you find in it is that now we've got a whole network of guys that are all looking after each other. And it's become a different thing to just me providing this one-to-one support and the help. Now it's a load of guys who are feeding into the same thing. And they're saying, actually, I can use what I've learned to help someone else. And then because of that, that creates the opportunities within themselves in work or in education or in fitness or whatever it is. They just there's a thing to aim for now because you know you've succeeded once. So why not again? Why not try and push it a little bit further? And that's what we tend to see.
Yeah, so that's things like that. You've really excelled it to where you started, and it looks like that you've grown it in its passion from where you first were, where you were. So, did your story come from a background of pain or purpose? How did that? How did it shape the core elements of it?
Yeah, so yeah, like I said, I've struggled with my mental health for a really long time. Um, I think as far back as I can remember, I've been in therapy since I was 19, in and out. Like, I'm 36 now. I don't really I see a therapist now, but for different reasons, like just cope with work stress and things like that. But yeah, I've always been in therapy, and it's always been to do with the PTSD that I suffer with. So as a child, I was quite severely abused. I won't say like in depth, but just out of respect to people that might not want to hear, but it was pretty horrific the things that happened to me, and because of that, I didn't really have a childhood. So then becoming a teenager, when you're starting to become a man, my anger was completely out of whack. I was not a nice person. I got heavily involved in crime and drugs, and I was literally. I'm very lucky. I never ended up in a police cell when I was younger. I could have very easily fallen into the same mentality as what a lot of my friends did back then. There's some of them that aren't here anymore. There's some that are in jail. There's some that are still living the exact same life, and I was very lucky. I escaped it because of a girl. Who- she was pretty nice, and she did not like my lifestyle. So she put a big stop on that. It was like it's me or that, and I chose her. And we didn't work out, and that's not important. She genuinely really saved me during that time. And when we broke up, my mental health really suffered, and it just got worse and worse. And even though things in my life were starting to get better, like work was getting better, and education was getting better. I was son at this point as well, so it was like things were starting to come together. But now I'm a single parent, and I'm struggling with my mental health. Had to move back to my aunt's house, and it's just like up and down, up and down. But it's mostly going down. And yeah, my drug use just increased massively. Like I was a massive cocaine addict, and that took all of my 20s from me, which was, yeah, part of the reason why towards the end of my 20s, I ended up having such a severe mental health breakdown that I had to quit my job. I was working as an electrical engineer at the time. I was like building robots and like really cool shit. I was getting paid a massive wage, and I just couldn't do it anymore. And so I quit my job in December 2019. And my plan was to go back to work, but I was going to start my own firm because I knew enough at that point, have my qualifications, I knew what to do. So I was going to start my own engineering firm. And yeah, then 2 months later, COVID came along. So it's really funny. People always take live out of me because of if I would have just waited 2 months, I would have got furloughed, and I would had to go to work. The guys I worked with were for like a year and a half getting paid. Yeah, so if I would have just waited, I'd probably still be an engineer now. But because I listened to myself and I knew that there was something seriously wrong, and I'd had suicide attempts in the past, and it was getting up to that again. I just decided self-care, and I took myself out of the situation. My wife at the time, she's still with me now, but when we first got together, she then decided to go back to work after we'd had our child. So my whole world just flipped, and then I was a stay-at-home dad during COVID. So I tried to teach my kids English and maths, and mine isn't great. So that was really fun. Get humbled by your 8-year-old with a math problem. That was quite fun. But during that time, my mental health took another massive dive, and it was only when one of my friends, really old friend from school, said to me about going out and doing some fundraising for local hospital, just going around blood buckets and stuff and like raising for them. And, I was like, oh, get me out the house. Cause it was quite a part of do you remember when there was a distance? Yeah, like you could go, yeah, yeah, and you weren't allowed outside unless it was a sport. Yeah. So we would go for a run, and we'd run for charity for the hospital. And over time, I really enjoyed charity work. We enjoyed giving back and just seeing the smiles on people's faces and the inspiration we was giving people. So I was like, this is maybe what I want to do. Maybe I don't like go back to engineering. So I started raising money for other charities in Luton, like, Keach Hospice Care. I'd raised like a bunch for them, for Noah, the homeless charity. And like I worked at Food Bank for multiple times, like volunteering, various different soup kitchens, and to go into community events and promoting them. And I started to build a bit of a platform for myself. And like people knew me as like this guy that's like shouting out like good stuff in Luton. Um, and yeah, it just kind of just kept building. And then before I know it, it's like, okay, well, starting to find out more about charities and how they work. And actually, a lot of your donations aren't going to the things that you think they're going to. And not to besmirch any of the ones I've just mentioned, because they're all fantastic charities, but there are a lot out there where what you donate is going straight to the CEO's pocket. And there was one particular charity where I remember chopping a bucket off one day, and the CEO drives past me in a Bentley, and I was like, this is wrong. That shouldn't be happening. So I was like, I'm going to make my own thing. And then that's where my journey with X Force and the men's mental health.
Yeah. What did you when you saw him drive past? What was the initial thought in right in deep inside of you?
Yeah, it was just so disgust, man. Like, I'm out here busting my balls for it, like trying to help this charity in what they're doing. They're doing a great thing. But then when I'm thinking about like where is all this going to? Like, my gosh, the amount of social media managers I've had to deal with, in charities to when we're doing like a fundraiser or something. It's like, how are you paying this person 30 grand a year to post these? You know, no disrespect, it's a job, yeah, but when you've got several of them in a department, and that is a big amount of waste in my eyes, where it could be going to the service. You volunteer that stuff, get the university and the colleges involved to run your social medias, you know, start getting young people involved, give them volunteering opportunities. Don't pay someone that amount of money in a charity. It's just it just doesn't make sense to me, you know. And obviously, look, there are some that are just so big that they've got that money to do it, right? And that amount of money doesn't affect them ginormously. But when you've got ones that going out and they're asking people to do fundraisers all the time, and the people raising like 5, 6 grand, and it's a massive amount of money to you and me, but to that charity is nothing compared to the grants and, you know, the millions of pounds that they get every year from the government. So it's like, in my eyes, I'm like, is it that we need to put more pressure on the government to fund them because it's wrong that they're having to come to us, or are we looking at it like, why is it that CEOs and charities get paid six figures? But I'm a CEO of my COSC. I will never take six figures for my job. I'll never ever take six figures, because for me, that can pay other people's wages, or it can go straight back in. You know, and like you, if I've kind of ranted again, but it's something that I believe. I don't always espouse it, but I do think that the charity world, sometimes it looks good. People say I'm donating to charity, but research your charities, find out where your money actually goes, because you'll be shocked. There's some that are really good, yeah, but there's some that are massive, and when you see where the like 90% of the funding goes to, it's to pay people in not for the service that they're supposed to provide, but managers, but like lawyers, like it's crazy, man. But yeah, you've got to look into it.
Yeah, so when you were talking there, I could see the passion that you have for it. It literally comes shining straight out of you, and that's something that is close to your heart, because obviously, you know, your journey from going from bad mental health to actually going from there, I can relate to that. And I have, it's not my personal journey myself, but I can see where the idea of like having that child, of having that charity, so I say, that you've kind of looked at where you are and gone, don't like this. This doesn't. He's. I feel sick to my stomach because I've seen him
Mm.
benefit from it. So, in hindsight, what would you say to someone now that's at the stage of early of starting a charity, or starting what you do as a sort of a charity business? Like, where do you find where do you think they should start?
Do you know what? Honestly, I've never been asked that question. I've done a lot of radio stuff, and I've never ever been asked that question. That's fabulous, fabulous question. So well done. Kudos to you as a presenter. But still,
Well, in a way, it takes a lot.
yeah, it's an interesting one, because when you think about why do we need charities, right? Why do we need these services? It's because there's an area in life that isn't being served, right? And the people that should be doing that serving should have a vested interest in the thing that they're doing. So say if you're running a homeless charity, I believe that you should have experienced homelessness. And I'm not saying like, I hope you've experienced homelessness. I'm saying that it makes more sense that you come from that background to be able to deliver it, because you know what then people need. Like, there's a great one in Luton. I won't mention him by name again, just out of respect, where the CEO was from homelessness, right, and drug addiction, and his story is incredible. It's absolutely incredible. He's one of the best people that I know, and because of that, like, yeah, that guy deserves to be paid whatever the hell you got to pay him, because he believes in what he's doing, and I feel like he should be treated as such. But when someone's going out there to start to try to build something, I've got two things I say, right? Is that helping your community doesn't start with asking for permission, right? And it doesn't work if you're seeking applause. They're the two golden rules for for doing any of this stuff. So first one, if you're gonna go looking for permission, you're gonna go to the AHS and say, "What should I do?" And then they're gonna fit you in a box that is not helping people currently with their mental health. They're gonna say, "You must do this, you must do this, you must do this." And if you do those things the same way as they do those things, you can see how it's going. So you've got to invent something that actually serves the people. I'm not saying go against what they say. There may be elements that will help you, but you don't start by going to the authority figures and saying, "What should I do?" No, if if you're meant to do this, then you'll know what the answers are. You'll know what you need in terms of your mental health and what your friends need, and what you would have heard stories in terms of like I say, if you're a homeless person, you will be around other homeless people experiencing different things to you. So you're going to know what the issues are. So you don't need to necessarily go to a head of a homeless charity and ask them, what should I do to set this up? The answers may already be in you. So trust yourself. You don't ask permission. And the second part of seeking applause, this is the most dangerous part, because all the people that not all the people, sorry, a lot of the people that I know that go into charity are doing it for that reason, because they want some kind of favor in the world where, people give them awards, or people like them on social media, or whatever the case is, but they want the applause. It's not about the thing. The thing may be in it, but it's almost secondary to the fame and fortune that they want to make for themselves. And the truth is, you're not going to get applause a lot of the time in doing this work. It's very lonely. It's not fun. You hear trauma all the time. It's painful. It hurts you. Um, but you know what? It's so worth it. It's so worth it at the end of the day when you're broken after everything you've heard, but you know that without you being there, that person might not be here. And when you have them stories, that's what it's worth. It's not worth people knowing them stories. Like, I don't talk openly about the people that I help, right? But I know it. That's all I need. I see we're very, very working hard because of that. But you won't if you're waiting for an award, because a lot of the time you're not going to get one. People aren't, you're going to fail in funding, you're going to fail in getting people to come to your services. Like, if you're expecting loads of people to turn up, well, guess what? It's a hard subject to talk about, maybe. Going with mental health, especially if I open my doors on the first night and 3 people walk in, I can't throw out a tantrum because I wanted 20. Yeah, those 3 people are important. Yeah, and that's the focus. So they're my 2 rules, and that's what my advice would be to anyone that would
Yeah,
be looking to
yes,
do this.
definitely. It sounds like you've really gone through failure. On it, and I said this on the last episode that I did, that failure exceeds your expectations. So, like you said, you could like, oh, I'll have 1,000 people in a room, and then you only have 3 people turn up. That 3 people is better than 1,000, because it gives the vibe like, oh yeah, I can actually take that and actually do it well enough to satisfy how I sleep at night. And it's probably better than 1,000, because for 1,000, there's too many people in the room. You're going to have so much to deal with in essence. And so the question that I want to ask next is, how do you find when you've got so many people that have just literally swamped at you with loads of questions, and then you turn around and wonder, like, right, how do I answer that question? And it's one you've never dealt with before.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like the amount of people, you know, it can be overwhelming sometimes, right? It genuinely can be, but it's just about giving clear expectations and setting clear boundaries, right? Like, people know with me that you can generally message me most of the time, but I'm not always going to immediately answer. And if you ring me, I'm most likely not going to answer. And that's just one of my things, right? Is that I'm sometimes sat with someone in a coffee shop and they're telling me they want to die, right? So if I didn't pick up my phone to you and answer my phone, what's that doing to that person? I have to show people that my phone, just like in the olden days when we didn't have mobile phones, and if I was out, I was out, and that's it. You're not getting hold of me because I'm out, and you will get hold of me at 5 o'clock when I get it. You can ring my house phone. I'll answer my house phone, maybe. So I might be around again.
I remember them.
You remember the days,
Yeah, I
right?
remember them.
But people expect now, because we've got mobile phones, that you should be on demand, right? And you're not, because then I sleep, I eat, I've got children, I like to have a bath every now and then, every there. So I can't be ready available all the time. So by showing people that I've got clear boundaries, that like, okay, for one of my first things I say in conversation is, you know, I'll talk to someone on the phone, or maybe public or on text message. I'll just say, look, I might not be able to answer all the time, but I promise you I will answer you back. I will come back to you, whether it's by text message, email, or phone call. And then when we do speak next, we will arrange time, because I'm very lucky I get to choose what I do in my day, right? So I've got protected time for seeing people, and then I can move things to allow for other people's schedules. So by doing that, I'm able to manage the actual flow of like how many people will necessarily come in. And if I get an influx of referrals, then I've just got to make sure that I'm stacking them in the correct way, because I want to give every person equal time that they need, where they know that I'm not just sitting there like waiting to get off the phone, that, oh my gosh, I've got to go and do this. And that now I'm putting that energy down the phone to a person. So I block out times, and I can allow myself time to go and do things. So yeah, there's definitely that. I mean, making sure you're having high quality conversations with people is absolutely vital. And if I come in something like a bit tired, and I feed that into the conversation, the person knows I'm not interested in them anymore, and that's it. Trust is gone. I can't help them anymore. So that's vital. You've got to manage your time and expectations really, really well.
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially when you like, when you have a family and kids, it is that extra time where you got to balance the books. Where when do I shut my day off? When do I like I always say that there's everyone seems to have there's a work-life balance, but but there isn't. Like like when you run your own business and stuff like that, there's no there's no balance to it in a way, because in
You're always on. Yeah, even when you're on holiday or when you're on a break, it never stops. Yeah.
yeah, so for example in like my industry as well, you don't get 5 minutes, and normally it dies down, and it will permanently say die down until probably, I don't know, 10 o'clock in the morning, when people are awake, they're in their offices, they're doing their bit. And do you ever get where people are coming to you from like B2B clients, do you ever get them sort of people coming to you and going, oh, well, I know Wade and he can help me with this, know, and then you say, I'll come to one of my sessions and see what I can do in that way.
Yeah, yeah, of course. I mean, look, in with us, it's a bit different because we're not like a profit influencer, and then we're obviously like my partners, if you will, and people within the NHS, so like GPs and primary care networks. So they're like people that control a large group of GPs practices, like the council and other statutory services for the mental health. So they'll make referrals to exports, and that's kind of how we work. So yeah, that's just the way it is with us anyway. Like we're always getting people referring to us in that sense. Yeah, it works very, very differently to like, if you were running like a coaching company like yourself, and you're doing stuff between businesses, it's very, very different to how it works. It's like I'm getting them sending people to me, and um, there's not much else going back for. I just advertise in their business.
Yeah, so basically, like it's like a thing where you can't do much with it, in a way. So you just have to try and do the best you can with it, and on the stats. So the next question is basically, how do you find that when you were going through your teens and then you went through all the drugs, the alcohol, and the abuse, and then that the ex-girlfriend at the time that you had, was you MB at the time, when and then now you realize from then to now that you're you had so much empathy for it because she did the right thing for you as a person.
Yeah, 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 it's weird, isn't it? I mean, when you break up with someone that's semi-nice, obviously, but yeah, we're at the time when we were together, life's good, that's how it is when you're in a relationship, life's good. And when it came to an end, it was very, very difficult. But I struggled with it a lot. She moved on. I didn't. I really struggled with it. But then, life goes on, and I met a new lady, and I just expect she's way better. Way, way better. I was saying that for you. It might be what she ever know. No, that's seriously, she genuinely is. She's everything for me, and it gives me things that no one else could. And because of that, yeah, I see things very differently now. I mean, I'm not a person that carries a lot of hate in my heart anyway, like I'm very forgiving. I give second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth chances. I believe everyone can change no matter what. It doesn't matter what's happened between you, there's always that opportunity. Um, so yeah, with in regards to her, I look back at it as like I'm pretty glad she was in my life for that period of time. And I'm not a person that lives in regret, I say these are supposed to happen for a reason, and that happened to get me away from it. And I got enough of an experience of that part of life that I understand it, so it can help me now in the future where I maybe talking to a 15-year-old boy who's going through the exact same thing that I was, and now I can talk to him like I am, unlike any other practitioner. Where someone that's got degrees, where gone to university, psychology and whatever, they'll sit across the table and analyze this person and try to therapize this person, right? Whereas for me, I would feel like first and foremost, I just sit and listen to the person and just let them just get it all off their chest. They've probably not really had that before, and you can't really do that without the experience. Because knowing that when I was at that age, I just wanted someone to be like, listen to me. I felt that no one cared, no one listened. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Did you feel like that? No one was coming to save you at that point.
yeah,
Yeah, and they felt that you just felt that there was no empathy in where you were going to go and how you were going to do things and what stage of life that you were going to be at and how you were going to live your life in many ways. So, do you find that it's a way of that, where you are now and the wife, your wife now, um has she been giving you so much patience and empathy
oh yeah,
with the aspects of what you do now?
yeah.
Does it help you from what you would where you were when you were 50?
Yeah, our big time, man. She's a massive part of the whole thing. I mean, I wouldn't be able to do any of the things I do without her. She's a wonderful mother, an amazing wife. I'm extremely lucky to have her. I hear about a lot of guys where that's the biggest problem in their life is the person they're with or the person they was with. I don't have that problem at all. It's the one thing that I don't struggle with in life is my relationship with her. She lifts me up so much, man. Like that whenever I've struggled, and trust me, she's been through the whole thing with me, right? And where every breakdown, every major breakdown I've had in my life has been with her, and without her, I wouldn't make it through to the other side.
Wow, sounds like it was she's been there from day dot, from day.
It feels like it. It genuinely feels like it. But we met like late 20s, and yeah, she's just been delighted since
Yeah.
pairing up with her.
Yeah. What would you tell your 15-year-old self now to another 15-year-old?
I couldn't have told him anything, mate. I'll be honest with
I
you.
like that question because I normally get
A long way with answer that. I'll be perfectly honest with you. You would never listen to me. He didn't listen to anybody. He was an idiot, right? Like I had my older cousin who was making all the same mistakes as me, constantly telling me not to do the same things as him, and I just done the exact same thing. I had older guys saying the exact same, but for me, I think that it would have been really difficult to get through to me at that age. I had to go through it. It's actually really shit because I think about with young guys now, what do you say to them? And sometimes actually they have to go through it. And that's what we don't tell people. We cuddle people when things are going wrong. And yeah, so you should, but there are some people that are going to pull away from that and they're going to go through it no matter what. So the best thing you can do is just support them. and just say to them that you're there to talk, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Sounds like you've really been through the mud and really through the way that life has treated you. Way that I can't imagine what your life was like when you were that age. I haven't lived that life, and my hat goes respect you to that. And the way I look at it is that life brings us many things of how we do things, and you really have done a lot, and you really have given your life to what you want to do, and it you've done so much with it, and my hat goes off to you for that. So if I was on a if I was on a fly on a wall from today, what does your day look like on a daily basis?
Uh, it's, it's my life's weird, man. It's weird. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, every day is different. Obviously, I don't just do X Force. I run Luton Comic Con as well, which is, for people who don't know what Comic Con is, like gaming, comic books, like all that sort of stuff as a convention. So I'm a massive nerd. So yeah, like at the moment, I'm preparing for Star Wars Day on May the 4th, in Luton. So yeah, we do these events there alongside all the mental health stuff. So I've got a massive mixture of things I'm doing at the time, and I'm a student at university. Obviously, I'm dad to my children, and yeah, it's just no day is the same. Wow, like I done a TED talk on Wednesday, which was pretty cool. Um, just constantly weird things pop into my life, and I do them, and then I just move on to the next things. It's really, yeah, I would never have expected it to be what it is. Yeah, it's good, man. It's good.
Yeah, lovely. So yeah, guys, we're gonna do the 5-5-5 now, and I'm gonna ask Wade some questions. I'm at my best when I'm. So you have to answer the.
Oh, okay, all right. I was waiting for you to finish. I'm at my best when I'm not hungry.
What's the worst thing that advice that someone's giving you?
Oh, when me and my friends were jumping from trees, and one guy told me to keep my legs straight as I hit the floor. That hurt a lot.
Yeah.
Oh, that hurt my yeah, busted my knee from that.
So question number 3, what's the ideal place that you would love to go and visit in the UK?
In the UK,
Yeah,
Torquay.
Torquay.
I've never been there, but I hear it's stunning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. What's the question 4? What's the best thing problem that you want to solve for in your community?
Um, if it was mental health related, then obviously we're talking about solving mental health problems. But if it's just really basic litter on that, God, does my head in. Does my head in, man. Yeah.
And question 5, what's the last thing that you want to do with when the last thing you want to do in your life, as in like, what do you want to write a book, or do you want to do something conventionally crazy?
Well, I've done most of the things I want to do. Yeah, like I've jumped out of a plane, I've done a TED talk, had children. I didn't really want to do anything else other than that. I want to learn to backflip. It just, I genuinely, I just want to learn to backflip. And yeah, I want to write a book. I've written loads before, but I've never compiled it into a book. And I've got a kid's book that I've been working on, so
Yeah,
that would be cool to finish.
cool. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, Wade, look,
Hey, thank you, man. Thank you.
it's been a pleasure.
It's been a great talk, man. Thank you. You're an insane presenter, man. It's really good. Really good.
Guys, look, we're gonna wrap up here, but next time I'll be in Edinburgh, and we'll be talking to another person who's just started a business. But look, Wade, where can they find you?
So you can find us on Instagram, Facebook. You find us on our website as well. It's spelt really weird, so I'll have to send you spelling. You can put it on the screen.
No problem, we'll do it.
It's x-4rce.com, and it's X-Force is the way you say it. But yeah, on Instagram, Facebook, yeah, you can check it out.
Lovely, guys. Look, I'll see you next time in the studio or wherever I am. But remember, my book's coming out soon. The Importance of You. Keep an eye out. Take care. Hi guys, I just want to appreciate the appreciate you giving me. I'm looking for guests to come on the podcast, and also I'm a life coach too. So if you want to crack on with a
The link will be down here with my website. Contact my team and I, and we'll get you on the podcast. See you in the inside.